Hello everyone, I'm Carthu, and today we discuss whether or not Cell can use the Kaioken. I'll be giving you both sides of the argument, so the reasons why some people believe he can, and why others believe he can't. Without further ado, let's jump into the video with the video intro. Cell, the final creation of Dr. Gero, or at least the late Doctor's hidden computer system. Cell is the culmination of, and the perfection of, all of Dr. Gero's research into the many warriors who have spent time on Earth. Born as the genetic culmination of Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Frieza, and King Cold, Cell considered himself to be almost the perfect warrior from birth, the only missing pieces being androids 17 and 18. Being the genetic mixture of 5 fighters, Cell exhibits not only all their individual key signatures at the same time, but also is capable of using their techniques. From the Kamehameha to Frieza's Death Beam, it appears there is nothing that Cell doesn't know. But what about the Kaioken? I'm sure there are already two sides of the argument here, ready to make their voices heard in the comments section, so let's go over both sides right now. First, let's go over the reasons why it seems implausible that Cell knows the Kaioken, and the logic here is pretty basic. He doesn't use it. On 3 separate occasions, Cell was almost defeated. The first being in his imperfect form against Piccolo, the second being in his semi-perfect form against Vegeta, and the third, his most obvious, as his perfect self against Gohan. In all of these instances, it would not only benefit Cell to use the Kaioken, but also would assure him victory when his defeat was only halted by a gamble on his part. There's also the argument that without training, Cell wouldn't be able to do the Kaioken because his body isn't conditioned for the technique, but that holds way less weight in my opinion, and we'll probably discuss that more in the future. More importantly than anything though, the basic foundation of the negative claim is we never saw it, and there are reasons he should have used it, but didn't. Therefore, you need to provide substantial evidence to prove the positive in the first place. That last part being especially true. You see, when it comes to discourse, rhetoric, or debate, the negative claim only requires evidence after the positive claim has presented its own evidence. So, what evidence is there for Cell being able to use the Kaioken? Well, it's fairly straightforward. Cell can use the techniques of the fighters whose DNA he is made of. And as we know, Cell is a 5th Goku. Goku himself having mastered the Kaioken, something King Kai said was impossible for himself to do. Goku became so physically strong and generally proficient at the technique that he was able to push it all the way up to 20 times, which leads directly into the counter for the weaker point on the negative side. Cell's body isn't conditioned for it. As we learned from Piccolo after he merges with Kami, imperfect Cell is at least comparable to androids 17 and 18, which makes his weakest form substantially stronger than Super Saiyan Goku on Namek, and Super Saiyan Goku in general to be honest, but Namek is all we need. Saying that a body that powerful would be unable to use the technique seems counterintuitive to how we've been told that Goku is able to increase the multiplier over time. The next big piece of evidence comes from Cell himself, who says during his fight with Piccolo that he is possibly capable of using the Genki Dama. And yes, it does say that in the original Japanese as well, but unfortunately it's equally vague. What does he mean by possibly or probably? Shouldn't he just know whether or not he can do something? Even with that contention put aside, does knowing that Cell can use one of King Kai's techniques necessarily prove that he can use the other? And as a final question, if he can, why doesn't he? Why doesn't Cell ever use the Kaioken if he is capable of doing so? And I think for this question, there's only one reasonable explanation, but it's purely speculation and is a long-standing theory in the Dragon Ball community. Cell is a Super Saiyan. Evidence for Cell being a Super Saiyan comes from a few things. First, Cell's aura in the anime being yellow like only the Super Saiyan's auras are. The second is Cell saying that they had enough Saiyan DNA when Trunks arrived in the past, so they didn't harvest his, but seeing a Super Saiyan for the first time and thinking that isn't worth getting the DNA of implies that the computer already figured out how to access that power. The third is possibly the most commonly used piece of evidence for this theory, or so I find. Cell can use a grade 3-like form when he is perfect, and does so twice. Once to mock Trunks, and the other to attack Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. My fourth and final piece of evidence here is when Cell regenerates back after self-destructing, saying he received a power-up like Gohan's, implying a Super Saiyan 2 form perfect Cell. And as an added piece of evidence, his aura also gained lightning. Add in the fact that it wasn't until Super Saiyan Blue that the Kaioken was ever canonically mixed with a transformation, and we have Cell in the same situation as Goku, being able to use the Kaioken proficiently, but never being able to stack it on top of the much easier and more powerful Super Saiyan. But at the end of the day, this is all speculation. While I like the Super Saiyan Cell theory, I think it would have been confirmed by now if it's what Toriyama's intention was. But what do you guys think? I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments down below, and hit the like button if you really enjoyed the video. It truly helps. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, leave your opinions and counterpoints in the comments down below, and hit subscribe and the notification bell. That way you get to stay up to date on the channel and everything that goes on with it. If you're interested, please check out the merch store to support the channel in another way that gives you something in return. But till next time, peace!